distinct challenges of a life cycle of embedded applications?
Well, at the design of the application, there is, I mean, it depends on where this application ends up, as I mentioned before. So you have safety critical applications, you have industrial control applications where safety may play a role. So of course everybody wants their application to be reliable, but maybe reliability and understanding what actually happens in the application is even more an aspect in embedded applications.
This morning you introduced a series of hosted and downloadable HTML5 developer tools. Could you talk us a little bit about sort of the new app development center that Intel's hosting and what this has to offer for developers looking to leverage these tools?
Yeah, well, these tools are provided to make it easy for software developers to create cross-platform applications. And cross-platform means that you don't have to, don't have to make up your mind at the beginning, do I want to develop for iOS or for Android, but you can start off with HTML5 and then later on decide where you want to deploy that application. And this tool set gives you a nice emulation and development environment where you can try out different form factors, different aspect ratios of displays. You can actually simulate how the device behaves if you turn it upside down, if you have accelerometer applications that depend on how you move the device in space, and you can use geotagging functions, so you can exercise all sorts of devices or features that are in the real device, but you can emulate this in a development environment and see how it works. And once it works, it's just a few steps away from the cloud-based build environment, the App Dev Center, where you can just select by the click of a button, do you want to have this packaged for an Apple App Store or for Google Play or for a Windows 8 store or for a Windows Phone 8 store.
And that's the so-called hybrid application that you were talking about this morning. What's the difference between a hybrid application and, say, a native application? How does a developer leverage these tool sets in particular to write into HTML5?
Well, for a native application, uses the native SDK, let's say the Apple's development kit or Objective-C code, which takes best advantage of the device's capabilities, but also kind of locks you into that space because this application will only run on that device. Now, when you start with HTML and then wrap it in this library that we provide, the Cordova library, that has specific implementations of the device's features for the different OSs, you don't really care about the implementation. You just enter high-level instructions or calls, function calls, and these function calls are then translated into operating system specific implementations depending on what target you're packaging for. So you should get around the same performance on the different OSs after packaging compared to using a native SDK, but you're much less locked into a specific environment because you don't really care about the target-specific libraries. You use that one library that has all the different implementations, and then you get, just by the click of a button, you get the same application packaged. I call it packaging because it puts a layer around the HTML5 code and the platform-specific implementations.
All right, that's great, thank you. You also mentioned a downloadable kit that also ties into the hosted app developer tools. How does that download the XDK work?
It's actually a plugin to the Chrome browser, so you can start at software.com/HTML5. There's a place where you can get started. Well, if you launch that, it opens a development environment with the build step as such is taking place in the cloud, where we have the build service hosted. So this is nothing that you need to worry about. We have some functionality moved out into the cloud, which gives us better control if we need to change anything in the build environment or optimize the libraries and all that.
And these tools are available for free?
Yes, they are available for free.
And they're available today?
Yes, they're available today.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.